Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, topic is I got dumped. I don't like this word dumped. I don't know if I've ever used it in my own life, and maybe that's it's just my preference. But when someone goes, "I got dumped," it's negative. It's self-deprecating. Is it even true? I guess if you know, point blank, I got dumped. I guess it's a real thing to do, real thing to say, but it just seems so negative, right? What the fuck happened? I would prefer you to say we broke up. Jazzy Love, what's up? I like the name. Vanessa, how you doing, VVS? Um, First off, why? So, for starters, people have different filters. They're wearing different pairs of shades, and they look at things in different ways. And so, when someone says they got dumped, they can be angry about it. They can take offense. They can go, "Oh, it happened to me again. Oh, I know I'm a horrible catch. Oh, I know I'm ugly." There's all kinds of things, feelings, reasons that are running through your head, and you're going to attach to one depending on your identity and your values and who you believe yourself to be. And some people just accept it because they go, "Oh yeah, I'm overweight," or "Oh yeah, I don't make enough money." They come up with some kind of narrative to the story, and the question is, do you really know why? Let's unpack this a little bit. Do you really know why this individual broke up with you? They didn't dump you like trash on the stoop. I would say the only time you would use dump is when someone's fed up with bad behavior, um, and you seriously know deep down inside that you deserved it. But if they broke up over timing and circumstance, for example, if someone said, "Hey, look, um, I'm looking at I'm looking at 4 more years of university. I'm going to go into a master's program. I got to move to Boston. We're living in California right now. It's not going to work." That doesn't mean you got fucking dumped. That means someone made a choice and they said, "You know what? Grad school at 23, 24 years old, a career, something I'm passionate about. I'm going to take that over an early relationship in my life. It's not personal. It doesn't mean I don't love this individual. It's a choice. They didn't dump your ass. They made a choice over timing and circumstance. That's fucking different." Now, if you go around telling everyone, "Oh, I got dumped. Oh, have a pity party about it." The reality is, no, you didn't. Someone made a choice. It was timing and circumstances, which happens a lot, especially in early relationships. Now, if someone breaks up with you and basically they catch you cheating, they catch you stealing money, they catch you doing something really bad that really goes against their morals and values, and they just go, "Bam, we're done. We're dust." They dumped your ass, right? They're done. And they had reason, and you understand it, and you're accountable for it. That's different. Now, when someone uses the words "I'm done," that's another level too. So let me unpack some of this a little bit and I'll get to the comments. Um, so these are things that come up. First of all, send your breakup story into writemac.com and I'll give you my take in a live YouTube video, or come to the live streams, or if you want to book a live coaching session, I would highly recommend booking a live coaching session, because at this point, I'm experienced and I can help you out. And I haven't had a bad session yet. And it really does help you unpack things, because a lot of times you think about the word think for a minute. Whenever someone goes, "I think," okay, they are telling you their opinion based on a few facts, based on assumptions, based on maybes, coulda, shoulda, wouldas, based on what they want to believe, what someone's told them to believe. Because when someone writes out their story and I read it, a lot of times I'm like, "Well, did you think of it from this point of view?" And they go, "No, this." Or someone will say, "Well, she told me," or "he told me," but I don't think it's that. Well, okay. If they told you they broke up with you because you weren't close enough with their, pet dog or their cat, and their mom hates you, and you're going, "I don't think it's just that." Well, here's the question. Do you trust your ex to tell you the truth? Are they the I've been with girlfriends before. I've had one before where I broke up. She tells she's a truthful person. Honesty is paramount to the individual. And so during the breakup, some of the things that were said were hurtful, but I don't think she was lying. Now, during the breakup, I was thinking to myself, fuck, dude, no, could be this, could be that. Looking back, no, it was just the fucking truth in the moment. I didn't want to believe it. And that's when people come back to asking the same question to get a different answer. And you can do that with different people, different coaches, different therapists. But with your ex, asking the same question becomes annoying. It becomes unattractive. And it just pushes them farther and farther away because they tell you they already told you. And if they're choosing not to tell you the full truth, they're probably doing it out of pity. They're possibly doing it because they don't think you can handle it. Or they don't want to. Regardless, it doesn't change the result of the breakup. And let me ask you this. If the person is camouflaging their reasons for the breakup, great way to put it, right? Do you want to be with someone like that that's not upfront and truthful? The other reaction to I got dumped. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't get it. Well, let's write out your story and let me unpack it with you. Maybe I can come to some conclusions of possibilities of why you don't know. And a lot of times that's called denial. If you've been with that person for 2, 3, 4 years, I'm not talking about 3 months, 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, you don't know the person that well yet, and everything's a discovery mission. You go into 2, 3, 4 years, especially if you live together, you spend a lot of time together, what the fuck happened. You're fighting it. And it involves probably some accountability and some responsibility on your end. And so unpacking that, but it's very, very important at some point for you to get some kind of clarity. People tell me a lot of times, I just want to know what they're doing right now. If they're with someone else, at least I know that they've moved on and then I can move on. Because it's called an open loop. When you have an open loop to a story, it's a cliffhanger and you want to know the end. And the I don't know thing when you got dumped is something that you need to find out, or you need to accept, I guess I'm never going to know because this person never tells me the truth. And I don't really trust what they're telling me. Wait a minute. Do I want to be with someone like this? Good question. The other one, I got dumped. I already talked about this earlier, but I think she's thinking this. I think he's thinking that. Really? Well, we can think, 10,000 thoughts in a day. It doesn't mean they're true or not true. And that's when you want to talk to someone like myself and write your story out, talk to another coach, talk to someone you respect based on their track record, based on the way they talk. Don't go to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, going, what do you think? What do you think? Because you're going to get confused. If you like someone, you like their body of work, you like their approach, it resonates with you, they seem to have similar values and morals, then stick with that individual or, someone else. It's not always best to go to the person that just cares about you because they can lie too. But if you're stuck in I think it's this, I think it's that, I think it's this, write out the story, unpack it, because you're thinking in little short snippets. You're not putting puzzle pieces together. But at the end of the day, it probably isn't going to be 100% guaranteed if you don't believe what they told you the reasons were. If you refuse to believe what they told you, which a lot of people do this, I think it's something more. Well, at this point, give them the benefit of the doubt that they're telling you the truth, that you snoring and the fact that you guys live 300 miles away is the reason you broke. Oh, it's got to be more than that. Really? Snoring's not going to go away. You haven't fixed that, right? The other question is, I got dumped. I know why. I know what it was. I don't get a lot of these because people usually that know why, it doesn't mean it feels better. It doesn't mean that you're not hurting. It's just clarity, and people understand they can accept the breakup much easier. They can accept that it's probably not coming back. And then they can decide, once you know what happened or what you can accept that you believe if that makes sense, then you can ask yourself this question: what's the root? That's deep. That's deep, as roots are, right? Think about this for a minute. Once you know or feel like you know what the problem was, okay? A lot of times someone will say, oh, I was being insecure. I was being clingy. I shouldn't have asked her to be my girlfriend after a month of dating. I looked at all these videos. I got all this advice, and that was weak and needy behavior. And now I look back and I was such a weak, needy little bitch. I've heard this before. Well, in hindsight, no, what happened was you were going out for a month. You guys were hot and heavy. Your feelings were high. Their feelings seemed to be high in the moment. But what happened is you wanted to check where things were at, and you said, hey, at what point do you think we will be official, or you'll be my girlfriend? And she's going, well, I just came out of a breakup, I don't really want to get serious. But there's tons of women out there who would be like, oh my God, I've been thinking the same thing, let's take it slow. And then in hindsight, you're thinking, oh, I really fucked up. The real root of the problem is that you're insecure with the idea that someone rejected you when you asked them to be your girlfriend, or someone said you dress bad and you erupted. Whatever it is, it's deeper than the moment. Do you understand what I mean by this? And you have to get to the root to fix it. So if you have issues with insecurity, that's a huge, or issues with confidence. This comes up a lot. Oh, I have low confidence. I have low self-esteem. All right, well, let's unpack that. Let me go through a set of questions I have in a live coaching, and let's get to the root. One recently, about 2 or 3 months ago, this individual is, insecure, low confidence at times. I'm like, let's unpack this. Let's go through, it took an hour of some questions, basic questions. And we come to the conclusion, the individual, he said, I don't feel physically attractive. Okay, we can work with that. See how different it is to say, oh, I'm insecure and unconfident. That could be 10,000 things. But then we get down to the root of it. And it's like, really, I just don't feel physically attractive. Okay, well then, what are some things we can do? Go to a stylist, get a haircut. Go out and start buying some lotion, some cologne, some other things. All the little things will add up besides just going to the gym and getting a personal trainer, eating more healthy. You can do things to feel better about your appearance, correct? But before you can do that, if you're just calling it, oh, I have low confidence, the reality is a big part of the reason I have low confidence, I feel I'm not good looking. Well, then you can work with that, right? So this goes to, can you fix it? Most things you can. The question is, do you agree or want to fix it? If someone breaks up with you and they say some things about you and they don't line up with you, they go, oh, you're not ambitious and you're never going to make the kind of money I want, ... And you're kind of in the back of your head going, well, that's not true. Or you go, yeah, that's true. I'm not all about money. I'm an individual that likes to work for charities, and I'm going to go work in the Peace Corps. Well, then you guys don't line up, and you got to agree to disagree, because you're not going to fix yourself into a person that you don't want to be for an ex that wants you to be a different person. That's not going to line up. It's not going to be long-term. You get me? All right, folks, let's get into this a little bit. Vanessa, hello. Jazzy Love, JL. Why? Because the universe knows best. I guess so, Judy Jack. That could be true. Yo, you. What's up, TG? After 3 years, it was like, yeah, I'm done. Then he acts like I don't exist. How does that happen? Well, there's got to be a story there. So Jazzy Love, I would send your story into writemac.com and I'll unpack it, because there's probably some breadcrumbs of a reason. People do that sometimes. They'll be like, oh, they just said I'm done. And then when I read the story or talk to them, I'm like, well, you're not being accountable or responsible for the fact that you guys lacked intimacy for 2 years, or you're not being responsible for the fact that they've been telling you for a long time that they have issues with you in your unhealthy lifestyle, smoking cigarettes and binge drinking on the weekends. Oh, well, that wasn't the problem though. They mentioned it to me, 4 or 5 times over the years, but did you fix it? No. Well, that probably could be it. Swati Hop Daikon, glad to see you streaming tonight. Morning for you. Yes, it is, sir. 10 a.m., 10:07 a.m. Aloha, Miss Keisha Shah. Marissa Garcia, hi. I don't know if I've seen you on the show before. This is the time if you want to ask some questions, go for it. I feel like dumpers are never going to tell you the complete truth of why they are leaving. They will give a general picture, but you will have to find your own closure. Interesting take, G Money. I think that's true, but I don't think it's 100% true. What happens is, even if they are telling you the complete truth, with an outlook like that, a lot of times you don't believe them. Oh, well, that's not the real reason. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe they are telling you the truth and you don't want to accept it because you think it's more than that. If someone dumps you and they say that you find the reason to be petty, it doesn't mean it wasn't their reason. It just means that you don't agree, right? But there's a lot of times people will hold back from telling the complete truth, but not always. I think that there's times when I've talked to people and I'm like, is this a truthful and honest person? Yeah. I'm like, well, why aren't you buying what they're telling you? I mean, sometimes I'll stop if you've seen some of the videos I've made and I'll go right there. They're telling you the big one is university relationships. Seems to me a lot of times the women are breaking up with the guys. I'm sure it goes both ways over they live with some girlfriends, they're in a sorority, and they want to sow some oats. They want to go out and party. They want to go have fun, and they just don't want to be locked into a relationship. And they're in their early 20s. Friends around them are single, and the guy's just like, what the fuck? What? And it's like, well, the reason is timing and circumstances, and they actually want to feel what it's like to be single. That's the truth. It's not much more than that. Well, it could be her friend. It could be this. I mean, how much more do you want to spend on it? Dumpers, LO. I got dumped because he does not want commitment. It really hurts. Well, that's a big one that a lot of people struggle with. I get a lot of stories about that. I got a lot of questions about that, but that's kind of clear, isn't it? Not kind of. It is clear. Someone goes, this happens a lot. Someone's dating, and the good way to start dating, okay, is to start with low expectations and no expectations. You go out to have a good time. You go out to meet someone new, and you don't go out like, oh, this person's going to be my girlfriend for the next 10 years. If you think that way, you're going to creep the person out. You're going to scare them away. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you start talking long-term relationship in the first 2 dates, especially a woman to a man, in my opinion, it could go either way. But someone goes, whoa, fucking pump the brakes. It's a red flag, right? So you go, you go in a situation where it's casual in the beginning, if it's the right thing, right? Now, some people up front, especially when you get a little bit older, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s have been around the block. They like to, especially women, I find in the 40s and 50s, they like to tell a man up front, look, I'm only looking for something serious, just to let you know, right? And that right there, is there a way of being controlling in some ways, a little defensive, and they've been hurt before. So they're saying, my guard's up, don't get any ideas, I'm going to take things slow. That's fine, but you've already put like a gate up to meet someone. Now, this happens a lot. People start dating, they start getting serious. Someone in the relationship likes the ideas of friends with benefits. They like the idea of dating, hooking up, spending time together. They don't like the idea of committing because usually, Marissa, not always, their past relationship was long, it was rigorous, it ended badly, and they're gun shy of being in a new long-term relationship. So they're really okay with, let's hang out 2 or 3 nights a week. Let's hook up. Let's have fun, but let's not have a label on it. Because the minute it gets a little bit more serious, it starts to remind them of that past breakup. And they go, ooh, I don't want to feel that again. I'm out. And that's not personal. That's not against you. That's just their prerogative based on their experience in life. And some people just are like, I don't want a long-term relationship right now. I don't want to get in one. I know a guy, he's in his 50s. He was married for years. Good looking guy, gets a lot of women, has a lot of interest. And he's told me, I've known him for 4 or 5 years. He's told me, he's like, I absolutely do not want a girlfriend. I just keep it that way. I just keep it like that. And he's upfront about it. He dates a lot. He's he's got 2 kids. He doesn't want to get committed to anyone. Now, if that's because he doesn't want to get hurt again, whatever, I don't know, but he's dug in on that. And so when he dates, there's probably going to be some women that are going to get to that point where they go, yeah. And then he goes, look, he's had it a few times. He told me where he's like, look, I don't want to take it there. As long as you're honest and upfront. But sometimes people get hurt because they think, why? Is it me? Is it no? No, it's someone has principles in place, which are rules that they follow based on past experiences where they've been burned or they don't want to go through another breakup. A lot of times the reasons they give are just specific to you. I don't have time for the relationship is really just, I don't have time for a relationship with you. Could be. I don't want to put in the time right now based on our relationship. Could be. Sometimes you're probably mostly correct on that, G Money, but sometimes they're actually telling the truth. Yeah, I started looking better and glowing after. What do you mean? I'm sorry, which glowing after? I don't know why you were glowing after. I'm trying to check that. Do you believe in no contact rule? Yes, for most situations, but it depends on your situation. Meow. Who's all in the spaceship tonight? Mac with the facial hair. Okay, look at you. I like it. Keep us on our toes. I will do. What's good, Rob? G Money is in the house. I don't know why they would hide that. Yeah, G Money. Everything's good. Single is a lifestyle. I like that. Newly single, very foreign. Your self-confidence skyrockets when you realize you can only want to change things for yourself. Ding, ding, ding. Correct. Not to change things for anyone else. It's a natural weeding out process for what doesn't fit you. Great. Great way to put it, Judy Jack. I like that. I think it comes with maturity, that statement, too. I don't think people are ready for it early on. Yeah, stay away from those psychos. Chris was never with me, sadly, but newly from the ex 2 months ago, post 7-year relationship. Okay. But here's the thing. Someone who is afraid of commitment, if Angelina Jolie wanted to date them or Brad Pitt, would they still be afraid of commitment? Depends on the individual, G Money. Depends on the individual. I would say probably half of them, yes. If someone's afraid of commitment, most likely they've just been burned in the past because of commitment, or their parents or whatever relationship, their aunt and uncle, their grandparents had a bad relationship that ended badly. Because I've noticed I've been in anyone that's been in a prior relationship to you, it's going to affect your current relationship. Does that make sense? They're always going to compare. And whenever something comes up and somehow it triggers something from their parents getting divorced or the breakup they had in the past, then it becomes a piece of your new relationship and you guys have to talk about it. Is that guy MGTOW? I don't know who you're talking about. When a man wants a woman, he will make the change, period. The truth hurts. And when someone is leaving you, they usually try and pull their punches, meaning not going to tell you the full truth. I mean, sometimes that can come from caring about you. Yeah. Or they know that you won't accept it, or they know it'll just turn into another fight. And then there's certain situations, G Money, where someone will make you be the bad guy, or I'll make you be the bad guy because I don't want to face the fact of just breaking up with you and hurting someone. Imagine how hard it is to change yourself. Now try to change someone else. Yeah, that's not happening. You just got to let go and be okay with it. I'm with you. Then that's when other opportunities open up. When you let go, open that space for something else to come in. Sounds simple, but it's not always. Yes to the facial hair. Okay. I went back with a beard. Doesn't take me long. I have some theories on Chris. I don't know who Chris is. Judy Jack co-hosting tonight. Yo, yo, yo. Skinner's in the house. Brand new Skinner. I got to hear them. Or maybe they're a narcissist. I get this a lot. I just had an email. So, can you identify if my ex was a narcissist at all? Let's unpack that question really quick. Someone sends me an email. They say, I want to send you my story. I believe my ex was a narcissist, and I want you. Are you an expert on narcissism so you can tell me if they were? What does it change? If I say, oh, yeah, that was a narcissist, you still broke up. You still got out of a relationship with a highly selfish individual. If you believe someone to be narcissistic, whether they qualify as a full-blown narcissist or not, let's just call them a selfish or highly selfish individual that's a bit self-absorbed. And I don't know what level or what radar you'd get on with narcissism, but people get really excited about after the breakup. And I'm not saying this about you, Keisha. I'm just saying this in general. I've just come across this a lot. Labeling their ex a narcissist. If your ex was a narcissist or wasn't, or by your definition, then be thankful you got the fuck out of a relationship like that, because I can't say I've been in a relationship where the person was highly narcissistic. I've had friends, and looking back, I didn't even know what it was, right? And those relationships, they're manipulative. They're people you find yourself, you're tight with them, or you're good friends with them, or you're close with them, and they're able to make you feel bad about not doing something for them. There's all kinds of little red flags about it. But what I would say is out of the breakup, if you have identified that they're even possibly narcissistic or not, well, then you're probably better off, right? Whether you're going to slap that label on them or not. And that was my point, is that someone wants me to go, don't you agree my ex is a narcissist? I've had that multiple times. Whether they are or they aren't, whether I agree or that I don't agree, if you believe it, or they have narcissistic tendencies that are big, then you're better off. It's hard because they're very good at making people feel guilty. I think that's a quality that's a trait of narcissistic behavior, is guilt. And you're carrying that on by post breakup hanging on to the fact of, let me blow the whistle and tell everyone I know this person's a narcissist, when in fact you're still attached to them in some way for that reason. I meant is 50-plus-year-old guy you spoke of earlier, is he a MGTOW? Oh, no, not by any means, Rob. No, not by any means. No. I wouldn't even say he's, I don't know a lot about the MGTOW thing. I know it's on YouTube. I've seen a couple of videos. I know that they're a passionate group about what they're going up, men who go their own way and whatnot. But this guy, no, that I'm talking about, no. I think he just made a decision based on, he was married. He had 2 kids. He's a good dad. He's a good guy. He's a good person. He's just, dug in on that. He doesn't hate women or anything like that. He dates, and he's actually a quote unquote nice guy. Exactly. Judy LL, I add that caveat with you. I think some people don't truly know what a narcissist is. And that's another thing. You could sit here and go, I mean, there's a lot of people with narcissistic traits. There's a really good podcast called Psychology in Seattle, and they do a really good breakdown of it. And the guy's a psychotherapist. I'm going to go through that show and then bring it over here one time. Psychology. If I gave you this, you'll probably end up watching it more than my show, right? Psychology in Seattle. It's really cool. And he does a great breakdown, and he asked a friend questions. So he goes, okay, and I'm going to do this one time on this show, these particular set of questions. And I think one of the greatest ways to get to the bottom of most things and beliefs is to have a set of questions, not just go, oh yeah, I think they're this or that because they do this. And some of the questions he'd ask is, he's like, all right, do you have a couple friends or a friend in mind that you consider narcissistic or highly selfish? And the guy goes, yeah, okay. And the guy's known him for years. He goes, all right, I remember the one thing that really stood out to me, that I went, oh shit, is he goes, when they call you, do you get uncomfortable, scared, or even a little upset? And I was like, oh shit. I was like, I have a friend like that, and I never even knew that was the feeling. And the guy went, oh my God, yeah, that's so true. He goes, well, then the person's probably a narcissist because they're able to guilt trip you or make you feel a certain way. They control the conversation. The other thing he mentioned that was a good question to ask, is the person always flipping? So let's say you haven't talked in 2 weeks. They're the types to go, well, you didn't call me for 2 weeks. You say, oh, we haven't seen each other for a couple weeks. Well, you didn't call me. It's always you did something wrong. They'll never be accountable. And the guy that was answering the question, oh my God, they do that also. And so it was lining up. I'll have to get those set of questions and go through them one day with you guys. It's really interesting. If they are a narcissist, then we know there's some mental illness. You deal with a sick person different. Okay. Narcissist is a major red flag. Bounce when you see red flags. Do not stick around. Guilt tripping, red flag. Yeah, I'd add that. There's some people that are good at it, though. You don't even know you're tangled in the guilt trip web, and then you start seeing it, and you're like, what the fuck? I'll tell you what one thing is that I've noticed over the years with individuals that are highly toxic is the blame game. Oh, my God. I don't know if that would be considered partly guilt tripping, but constantly blaming people for things. Everyone is a narc to some degree. I agree with that, actually, G Money. And so I think that there's the guy on Psychology in Seattle says the same thing, that we all have some narcissistic tendencies, that we could be 10%, 15%, 20% due to some tests, especially in modern Western society. I agree. That being said, I reckon very few people meet the clinical diagnosis. I agree, G Money. I agree with you. I think that people that watch or read up on it automatically diagnose individuals as being 100% narcissistic. And I don't know what the test would be. I like how you put, especially in modern Western society. You know, it's a book you'd really like, G Money, is I've mentioned this book before, but I think it's just a great book that's never talked about. Has nothing to do with breakups. Tribe by Sebastian Junger. Just talking about how Native Americans lived in tribes and the morals and values that they had, and how much more white people at the time, or Western people at the time, wanted to live in their societies once they were exposed to them. People become narcs because nobody in their early life told them they were awesome, so they compensate by telling themselves they're awesome. I've read that before, and I would say that's true about the one I knew. People that talk in third person. I always say that they're commonly either a victim or a hero. There's not a whole lot in between. They're not, when I've come across them, and the most recent one that I came across and got entangled with, it was victim, hero, victim, hero. And you get to a point, you get exhausted, because if you're around someone that's a friend or close to you, and you always have to hear a victim or a hero narrative all the time. And the other thing, the conversation's always about them. They have horrible listening skills. You guys help me navigate my situation. I appreciate you keep my mind off things and keep me focused. Well, we appreciate you. You're right, G Money. Keisha Shaw. Breaking off with a narcissist is actually an opportunity for empaths to do some soul searching into what it is about themselves to be sucked in. Once you resolve that, you won't attract them. Why would they hold this back? Because you use the word suck. It's a great comment too. Sam Vaknin is a great resource for all this kind of stuff. He is a self-admitted narcissist who has spent his life studying it. Okay, I don't know who that is, Sam Vaknin. But considering G Money, considering the source, I believe you. That never happens to me at all. The worst thing is a narcissist that doesn't even know they are a narcissist. I think most of them don't and would deny it. I mean, if you confronted them, they would go, where the fuck did you get this from? They wouldn't. That would be a narcissistic tendency to not be open to the fact that they could be something negative. Yes, write that down. Make sure you get us those questions. I will. I've talked about doing it before. I know it's a high interest topic. And I've been called out by people early on in the channel that I don't know what it is and that I should know more about it. And I disregard it sometimes because it comes up a lot. And it's not that. If I'm not an expert or I haven't done a lot of research on it, I'm not going to wear the hat and go, oh, yeah, I know all about it. And someone's like, I watched 15 videos on it, Mac. You don't know this, this, and this. You got me. Okay. You got more information. You got more background. I'm not going to try to slither around and go. One thing is about me is if I don't know about it, I'll say, oh, what is that? I think if you're on the live stream, there's words or there's something like that. What does that mean? I think that there's a lot of value when someone does that compared to someone trying to play it off or act like they know more than they do. There's nothing worse when someone tries to play businesswoman or businessman and you're like, you're talking to them and you're like, you've had 3 failed businesses that lasted a month or 2. And you always act like you're the business aficionado or someone that's a philosopher, but they don't read books, You know what I'm talking about too. You're like, or the person that's an expert on everything, but they take their phone out for Google. Laugh out loud. That blame game, got that before. That's a red flag. The blame game is big, man. The blame game is big. And I'll tell you what, I've had times in my life where I played the blame game. I'm going to be honest. Probably in my 20s, I was very blameful of a lot of different things. Not bitter, but just not taking accountability or responsibility. And that's learned. What haven't you got? I just heard today that narcissism is a defense mechanism. If we didn't have mental defense mechanism, we would kill ourselves from stress of reality. That's probably true. Well, what's really interesting, that psychology in Seattle, he says that like people with alcohol problems, people with these, he goes, they're not, he goes, they're people that you could have compassion for because they're defense mechanisms, like you said. And he said they're dealing with something or some trauma that they're not addressing, and that's why they're doing, excessive amounts of alcohol or narcissistic behavior. It's not because they want to be that way. And I thought that's a really interesting way to look at it as a therapist or someone that cares. More than the guilt tripping is the love bombing, building up, then slowly devaluing as a form of their manipulation that they learned from their own dysfunction in early life. That's deep, Judy Jack. Self-denial of the almighty narcissists. I didn't do anything wrong. What's funny about this is sometimes people will send me their stories, and from the first 4 or 5 sentences, I'm like, oh God, because it's like, yeah, I wrote you because I hope you can help me. She did this, she did that, he did this, he did that, they did this to me. And if you can help, like, it's all, they did this, you can do this for me. And I'm like, usually people start out with, hey, I like your channel, I've watched some videos, hey, I hope you can help me. You really get to know people on the way they write their story. And like I said, the style and the way they present it, right off the bat, I'm like, reading this story, I just don't like you. Because you don't have to give a compliment or anything like that, but you're just going into me, 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 me. And a good thing to ask people like this, even the ones that are successful, because there's highly successful narcissists, right? Have you done any charity work? Do you do anything for other people? Do you do anything where you don't get something back? It's like last night I went out for a couple of beers with a buddy, right? And we're just talking sports and shit like that. And when he went to the bathroom, we had the next round. I said, "Oh, that one's on me," to the girl that was the waitress. And so we get done or whatever. We had 4 beers, something like that. And he goes, "Oh," and I said, "Oh, I got you one." And he's like, "Why would it, the thing that people do? Why I would have got you one. I didn't know you bought one." I'm like, "Don't worry about it, bud. Don't worry about it." That's called not keeping a scorecard. That seems really subtle. And when I was younger, I would be doing that. But like you just being able to have the ability to do something nice for a friend or someone that's cool, that's small, says something about your character. And it will be reciprocated. No, they have great listening skills. Narcs observe well at first. You project themselves as your perfect soulmate. Oh yeah, they're a really good narcissist. Can be charming. They can be great friends, and then the true colors come out eventually. What you notice with the narcissist post narcissist victimhood, whatever you want to fucking call it, is you go, wow, in the beginning things were so great, but I didn't remember how they were talking about other people and thinking, oh, that's kind of fucked up. The next victim was you. Right, Judy, that's so easy to point finger accuse someone of being a narc. Much harder to figure out why you were drawn to that type of person. Good question, G Money. Good question. Perfect soulmate. I think that most narcissists must be betas or worse, omegas. No, I don't know what an omega is actually, but I would say that there's plenty of ones that are masculine, in my opinion. I need to check out this love bombing stuff. That happened to me on Friday in a very public setting with friends. So caught off guard and froze. Yeah, Mac, you're very inquisitive when someone mentions something here that you're not privy to, and it makes us feel like you really care. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. That's been cultivated as a teacher. And I had a student recently tell me, and I thought that was a really nice compliment that she gave. We were out to lunch with a group of students, and she was like, one thing I like about you is that when people answer questions in class, you never just tell them you're wrong. Right. And sometimes what I will do is go, no, that's not correct, but I can see where you're coming from. Or I'll pause for a moment before I just go, "You're wrong," because I'll go, "Wait a minute. I could see how you'd look at it that way," right? Because if it's not math, what's right? If it's not 2 plus 2, what's right? Think about that. I thought when she said that to me, I was like, "Wow, that's a really nice compliment," and I do try to do that. Because if you're a teacher and you don't realize how much of an effect or how much power you have on individuals that ask a question and you just go, "No, you're wrong. You're stupid," and then they'll never ask a question again, and then they just think, "Oh, I don't know much about this topic." And the only thing that's like that is math. Even science, which some people believe, there's a great fucking G Money probably knows about this because you know about most of the stuff I mentioned. Joe Rogan had this guy on that's a fuck, not Muay Thai trainer, but MMA trainer thing. He goes on for like an hour and a half about science being non-factual, and it's a constant hypothesis that's, I mean, it was brilliant. It was a brilliant argument the guy was making. Um, Shit, I got to look that up again. And I was just so impressed by this guy's the way he articulated it. That Newton or Einstein, any of these laws that they come up with are endless. The possibilities until it's proven wrong. And so science, even though when they come through with a law that they've proven somehow, will be disproven over time if you look at a lot of science. And so who's right or who's wrong? That's a mature way to look at things, man. A relationship, expect, yet they failed at every relationship they've ever had. That's a good point, Rob. If someone's old enough and they got a pretty big track record of failed relationships where they weren't with someone more than 3-4 years, they've had a lot of short-term things where there's smoke, there's fire. That's why I try and be a good listener so I can figure out who someone is so I can be better, mold myself around them so they like me. Expert, I mean. So my point was, a hurt person is different from a narcissist. If someone is hurt from a past relationship, at some point they will love again. Narcissist is a different game. Why do you capitalize the narcissist? Keisha's done some research on narcissism, I can tell. Cool. I respect that. What is your guys? I know about love bombing. What's the definition of love bombing? Refresh my memory on this, please. Judy, long story short, he serenaded me in a mutual friendship group setting. People thought it was jokes. Then everyone realized how dead serious he was. Serenading mean that he was singing to you. Is that a good thing? I mean, some people would probably melt. Rob loves the beta male label. Clearly has no idea on attraction. Isn't there some women out there that would like to be serenaded in a mutual friendship group? I wouldn't do that because I don't serenade is singing, right? But I know women out there that are, romantics. There's some out there. Rob guarantees no beta. He's established, very successful, very popular. The guy everyone wants to be and every girl wants. It's just weird. Well, it sounds like you're a catch yourself if you're drawing interest from an individual like that. Good for you, hon. He cannot communicate, and he builds this stuff up. His emotional maturity is the age when he lost his parents. Wow, that's deep, huh? He didn't talk to me for 2 weeks, then he does this. What the fuck is that? It's moment to moment. That's someone that doesn't want to commit right now, but in the moment, they're highly attracted to you and they want to show you. But you said he's established, very successful, very popular, a guy everyone wants to be and every girl wants. Could it be he doesn't want to commit because he wants to keep his options open? He cannot, if he's that popular and that outgoing. No alpha would do that sort of thing, though. Serenade, just to clarify, is when he's singing to you a song in front of a group of people, correct? What does that mean? Was it Bruce Wayne? Touche. Right on, G Money. Miss having you in the live stream sometimes, dude. Good humor, bro. Rob, I need you in my ear when we have these conversations because I don't know what to do. Look at Rob's going to do a little coaching. Good for you, Rob. Good for you, Mac. What's up, brother? What's up, Ernesto? Fun fact, my ex of 6 years, broken up for 1 year, saw me and my new girlfriend this weekend. She reached out yesterday. Haha, a bit late. Her loss felt good to the ego, but that's it. I mean, if she reached out, was she just saying hello? Obviously, you got her attention with that. But what'd she say in reaching out? Feels good when you've moved on and you can be in the driver's seat and not be bitter. So today he tells me, I feel you are the missing link in my life. Okay, that's deep. It's like, let's just go out and have drinks and have a good time and see what happens. Ernesto in the house. Ernesto. Isn't it funny? I went to grade school with an Ernesto. Not that there's only one, but you think of a name and then you put a face to it from your past. It's funny how your brain works. Mac, you see LBJ being criticized about his comments on Maury. I thought he was a little bit dramatic. That's a touchy subject, Skinner. And I mean, overall, it's way overblown in my book, but I'm not into I don't know what's going on between China and Hong Kong deep enough to get involved in that. Obviously, Daryl Morey made a big boo-boo. It seems like anyone that speaks out on this, there's such extreme sides to it. How are you going to win? So in my book, Skinner, unless you're passionate about the topic and you know a lot about it and you're really into it and you're dug in on one side, you trying to be neutral, actually you're still going to lose probably. Does that make sense? And so that's like one of those things when politics come up, and I'm not big in politics because I think most of them are crooks anyways. Most of them have bad intentions anyways. And the people that are really good people that would make really good politicians that would do really good things don't want the fucking job. That's the truth. Like Colin Powell would have been announced. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not. I thought he would have been like a great president. He doesn't want that job because people that are really good people know better than to put their families in the crossfire. And so now we have these groups of people, and I don't want to get into politics right now because I'm not highly passionate about it, but it's just my take. It becomes, everyone's the moral police and everyone's a spectator. And the reality is you want to be a fucking good human being and a part of Earth. What do you do? What do you do to help other people as an individual? You go around spectating and call out and whistle blow everyone and their brother that's doing bad things? That would be my question. The greatest speech line ever is what was the JFK speech? Do not ask what your country does for you. What is it? Do not ask. See, now I got stuck because I'm trying to get it right. That's when your subconscious mind and your flow stops. Do not ask what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. How about this? Do not ask what human beings can do for you, but ask what you can do for other human beings. Do not ask what your teacher can do for you, but what you can do for your teacher. This is like human fucking spirituality 101, but everyone's going, oh, you didn't do that. You didn't do this. What the fuck? You did this wrong. What the fuck did you do? In text, no less, granted, he was in meditation with his ex-wife, but still. Granted, he was in meditation with his ex-wife. I don't get where this is going. What a mess that's become. It is a mess, Rob. LeBron bent the knee to the Chinese. I mean, see, that's what I mean. In one sense, yeah. In one sense, he did, G-Money. On the other sense, he's looking at money, right? And so everyone has their, well, it's not, freedom of speech is not that big a deal, being that we lost $20 or $30 million. And then someone on the, you know what I mean? It's, way overblown for what was, it just sounds like there's perhaps a bit of back issues there. Science is a liar sometimes. G-Money, you're on the same page as me. So when people go, I'm backed by science, it's suspicious. Math? It's hard to fuck with math when it's 2 + 2 and it's 4. I don't know how many other answers we can get for that. When you have hypotheses and experiments, look at studies. Studies show, who'd you study? 1,000 people, and now it's all true. It's like with these attachment codes. When people go into these, the different attachments and different things like that. Where did this come about? Did you study all human beings and gave them 7 boxes to put them in? I don't know if there's, people love to put things into categories. But when you put human lives and situations and breakups and relationships into 7 categories, seems limited to me. Where did you meet him? What does it do? Okay. Then I asked him to explain. He texted, I'm driving. What the fuck? So 7 hours later, I text him, are you still driving? He's like, yeah, no, I'm having dinner with my daughter. I already knew it was her birthday. So I just went to sleep and he didn't respond. That's detailed. Love bombing. I got to look it up. He's avoiding the question because he doesn't know how to answer it. Either that he's lying. I don't want to think he's lying, but communicate. So you're fighting the idea that he's lying. Feel free to send your story in if you want to get my take on. Even if it's not a breakup, some people do send situations prior to a breakup or a situation like this. And if you want to get my take, I'm fine with it. Coach, your channel has been growing really quickly recently. I'm so proud of you. You have a wonderful content, and I'm happy to see your channel grow. Keep up the great videos. Well, thank you for saying thank you, Daikon. Kapun kap ma krap putai gang mark. Sounds like someone flooding you with lovey-dovey stuff to appeal to your sense of vanity. Talking about Daikon for me, or are you talking about Funsawa? Whatever. That's a hard name to even say. Probably not lying. He just doesn't know how to answer it in a way that makes him look good. That's an interesting. Yeah, serenading is singing. That's what I thought. I just want to clarify. I did melt. I died, though, because he was seriously giving it all to me when we hadn't spoken to me in weeks. I mean, that just could be he likes to sing. You know, it might not be deeper that he's love bombing you in front of a group. It could be he's a talented singer and he wants to show that part of him. I've always been someone that can't really sing at all, or I've never even done karaoke, but I definitely like being in front of people and talking as a teacher. And I always thought, wow, that would be something I wish I could do. And so, you know, it could have been just a moment where he's showing that he's a good singer. Was he a good singer? Takes guts, man. Love bombing is everything romantic we want, but it's just to lure you in. Beta, alpha, or aloha. Touche. Romantic acts in small doses that are thoughtful go a long way. Here's when it would go too far. Correct me if I'm wrong. Someone sends you 10 dozen roses, and a trumpet band to your door, right? Some women would really like that. That might be a little bit beta because you're overcompensating. Sending a dozen long stem roses to a woman's work on Valentine's Day is cliche, but they still like it if it's publicly done, I would say. Sending them when, you slept together for the first time the next day would be beta. It's overcompensating. It depends on the individual situation. I'm not highly romantic. Probably because I grew up that way. My parents, my dad wasn't a very big romantic. I've talked about this before. I think doing something that's thoughtful, that's tailored to the individual goes a long way more than just cliche type things. But if the individual is good at singing, why not use that? You know what I mean? How many women would love some guy? I remember when I was in college, the guy that would come to the party with the fucking guitar was a legend, and he could play Old MacDonald, and everyone would be like, "Oh my God, it's he's got a guitar and long hair." It's fucking Kurt Cobain. Beta busters. Rob loves it. It's grooming for your future manipulation, giving attention and taking away, push, pull, hot and cold. Why do you think they always seem to reach out when you start to get over them? The cycle starts all over again. I don't think it's actually always happens. I think people miscalculate that. There are situations when they don't. Certain individuals that are stubborn, or certain individuals that have actually moved on. They moved somewhere, they got a new job, or they got a new lover. So that doesn't always happen. They say that it's something to do with the energy force or something to do with that, that they can feel when you've taken away your attention. But, it goes back to, they say you want what you can't have, but you also want what you once had and lost. It's like when you were a little kid. I mean, what's the percentage of little kids that have 10 toys, right? So they don't necessarily have a favorite toy, and they have a toy truck, and some other kid comes over and starts playing with that truck, and they want the fucking truck. It's because it's mine, right? And the minute someone officially starts to pull away, that's when people really feel the loss. And when you get loss is actually a higher emotion. I've read about this and I've seen it in multiple YouTube psychology videos, and maybe this isn't 100% true. It's a higher emotion than winning or getting, and it lingers longer. And that's why when you're a little kid, if someone plays with one of your toys, you're like, no, that's my fucking toy. Now I'm interested in it. And you hadn't played with that toy in 3 months. Do you know what I'm talking about? And so scarcity is attractive. Those things are attractive. And if you, how about this one? Maybe a lot of you are younger than I am, but let's say you were 16, 17. My first car was a Bronco, 1988 Bronco. Nothing special. I think I got it for $8,000 or something, but it was a cool car at the time for me. And eventually I sold it and, got another car. And, but whenever I see those cars, it's nostalgic. I get a feeling from it from when I was 16 to, I had it from 16 to like 18 or something like that. And in the future, if I had money or something, I wouldn't mind having one of those restored or something, because I have an attachment to them. And it's almost like, I remember when I lost that, when I sold that car, my father brokered the deal on the side, without me knowing, but, that's another story. No big deal. No hard feelings, but, loss lingers longer. And when someone officially starts to feel loss, and they'll feel it at different moments, right? It could be 6 months, it could be 7 months, it could be 3 months. People are different. When they feel lost, they want to know, is this really over? Because when they break up with you, they're thinking they always have the option to get back together, because at the end, you wanted them back. Oh, the grooming for future manipulation, that's certainly a thing. Again, ask, why would you be vulnerable to emotional manipulation coming from someone giving you positive attention? Perhaps you were starved for it early on, so when someone shows it, you latch on. Great point, G Money. G Money, you should get into something with psychology, dude. You should do something similar to what I'm doing, if it's coaching or something like that, because you got it. You're well spoken, dude. I'm more interested in the response to the response. Skinner's got a good sense of humor. G Money, positive attention is one thing. This is a whole other thing. I guess you can be overwhelmed. You can be overwhelmed. And then what's the individual's attentions by serenading you in public? Like I said, they could just like singing on top of that. Yes, Funchua, they are such Romeos at first. Sweeps you off your feet, makes you want it more until you figure it out. Then in the future, it will come across as a red flag. What void is he filling? I mean, I've come back to this in my particular situations. I've always built up things through good connection, conversation, hanging out and having a good time. It sounds simple. It sounds whatever. But, exchanging gifts the first 2 or 3 months. What is love bombing other than positive attention? Is that a question to me? She asked to get together for dinner via text, as I didn't answer her 2 phone calls. Oh, wow. I've moved on a couple months ago. No to one IDs. Good for you, Ernesto. That's a good feeling. I'm happy for you. And thanks for letting me know about that, because it happens. And that individual, realize that you're no longer available. Scarcity is attractive. What void is he filling? How can you fill that yourself? Good question. Judy, he's not Romeo. He's very closed off emotionally, like a freaking robot sometimes. I think it's because it's how he needs to be with business. Mediation, not meditation. I read things quick. Man, I hate seeing do avoidance feel no contact. My ex is avoidant, so they don't care. Justin Adams, yo, yo, yo. What's up, buddy? Adonis. Cali's finest. LBC. True narcs have no capacity for empathy. It's all a mask. They are incapable of love, and they know it. They are internal. They are own internal hell. They live off your supply. Isn't love bombing the repetitive vocal admiration of the other, and the relationship that typically is an overboard method of one thinking doing more over and over is better than a typical balance. Sounds like you nailed it. Like to sing? No, he's horrible. That's why it was funny and everyone laughed it up. Okay, well, if you said he's popular and he's outgoing, then he might have did it for the crowd, not just you. Had the O.J. Simpson Bronco. Yeah, it was 88. I don't know which year the other one was, but mine was navy blue with the tan color top, I guess. Eddie Bauer, but it wasn't leather, because 88 there wasn't leather. But I used to always think that Bronco was cool because it had the rear window that would go down. It was a cool car. Truck, I guess. All right, any closing questions? I'm at an hour. I got about 5 minutes. I got to roll out. This has been good. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate it. This has been a good chat. G Money, Rob, Justin, thanks for popping in and saying what's up. Keisha, thanks for the knowledge on narcissist. Judy Jack, as always, it's a pleasure. To Icon, dropping a little bit of Thai. Ernesto giving me a good update. That counts, buddy. Any closing questions for anyone? Love bombing is feeling like your own personal Prince Charming came into your life. Wake up, Cinderella. Oh, so it's like someone's going all in 110% and then they pull back. Okay. I mean, women can do that too, right? Yeah. The question is, when it happens, do you feel like it's just too much, too quick, and it's artificial? But I'm sure there's some people out there that are, there's guys and women out there that are really romantics, and that's what they're into. So, yeah, it could be for both genders, right? I agree. I mean, I've come across it before, and it's a turn off to me. No such thing as Prince Charming, and y'all ladies sure ain't Cinderella. Oh, G Money broke it down. Cinderella. Goes both ways. Yeah, no, I've seen it both ways. Extremes, hot and colds. Why is she so hot and cold with me? Well, she doesn't know what she wants. And individuals and that's the other thing about it is there's some individuals that just don't take intimate relationships as serious as you. Think about that. You look at an intimate relationship where you're sleeping together and you're spending time together. Another individual can go, your breath smells, I'm done. And you're like, wow, just because of that? And they're like, yeah, curtains. It's like people are different. And what happens is everyone thinks that they look at things like you do. I mean, Western society, as G Money said earlier, to take it a step further, in 2019, in the 21st century, people are more selective. They're more about upgrading. They're more about, I could probably do better. And they're exposed to way more shit, stuff, things, options, ideas, knowledge. And so it's very difficult for them to focus on one individual long term. And so when someone goes, we were together 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, I go, well, that is an achievement in the 21st century, and to have a good relationship that long. I don't believe that to be true. So that's a reflection of you. I think it ggets difficult when you get to 10, 15, 20 years now with social media, with all the access of everything out there. And I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I look at it being 38 years old, and I could never see access to this much material shit, man. You could look at what Amazon does now. I mean, free shipping on just about anything or everything you want in 2 days. Wow. I mean, and put it on your card. I don't know if I chose it or it chose me, buddy, but yeah, I've been told by other people. It's all you love, but can't say so. What's up? Have a good one. Thanks, C Riddle. I appreciate it. G Money, if you ever want to do the same thing, you got I think you got the toolkit. Like you told me a long time ago, you go, I give really good advice. I just don't give myself great advice. I think everyone could be guilty to that to a certain extent sometimes. She's a queen 19. Hello, Coach Mac, everybody. How you doing? Hearts. So we got a little bit of polarity here. I got some fire up and I got some hearts up. What does it say? Today's Wednesday for me. So a lot of you guys, it's Tuesday night. Godfred and Mana, I have a question. Drop it, bud. I got about 5 minutes. I don't have your compassion, Mac. It's all nuts and bolts to me. That's fine with me, bud. What's your opinion on breaking up with a girl because her friends are shitty? That's a good question, actually. I don't know if I'd phrase it that way, but this comes up a lot, especially in relationships where people are in their 20s. You're not going to change someone's friends. You can give ultimatums. You can't, but usually people that have bad friends can be manipulated by them, or they like the friends. They like what that friend offers. They like the fact that that friend has a wild side, or that friend is suddenly single and has a lot more fun than they do. There's something they identify with them. But friends do influence people. The more time you spend with people, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's actually true. I mean, you guys spending a lot more time with me on a live stream probably affects some of the things and the way you look at things. It probably hopefully helps out, I've been told by some other people. So I think now the 5 people you hang out with the most could be different, that the 5 sources of content or information that you get the most can affect who you are. But I would say if a friend's really shitty, or if a friend's becoming a problem, you need to talk to your partner about it. You need to address it. And if they go the other way on it, you're not gonna change their mind. I've known someone that was a relative, and his wife, they have kids and whatnot. I appreciate that, Rob. Her best friend, who was a neighbor, so they were really close, right? So they're not only friends but neighbors, close environment. So you had proximity there. Went single quick, had a bad breakup, immediately started going out, immediately started dating, and his wife started hanging out with her and going and doing single type things. And he stepped in and he was like, "Look, it ain't gonna happen. We're married. We got kids." He had to sit down with her. He confronted her on her. He confronted the friend. And his wife listened and changed directions, but that doesn't always work that way. So I would say that if it's a continued problem and it's not going away, and I'll tell you, Adonis, it wasn't the exact reason I broke up, but it was one of the reasons I broke up in a past relationship, and it was difficult, but I didn't see anything changing. I think it's really difficult because the habits and the way that the friend has fun and looks at things, it will affect and some people if they've been friends a long time, they have a lot of trouble turning their back on someone. And so it's like an ex of mine was coming back home and telling me about their friend and how they were playing some guy and how they were cheating, and how I remember it was like a concert, and she brought a guy to the concert from her work. I got this crazy memory. And the guy was like a really cool guy, and he was nice, but she liked another guy that was coming with another group of friends. So she was playing the guys off of each other. I was like, that's horrible. Highly selfish. And this is one of her best friends she hung out with. And she's telling me the story. And I'm like, this is someone you hang out with regularly on the weekends recently? So my short answer, Adonis, long term, it's probably going to become a problem. And if they choose to interact with that friend often and don't see the light, you got to make a choice, because it's going to be a problem. I've had that in breakup and live coaching sessions many times. I'll be like, well, we're going through things. I'm like, how about our friends then? Oh my God. It's an issue, especially if you guys don't live together and you're not seeing each other regularly, and the friend spends just as much or more time. The friend's going to influence. And if the friend, especially a woman, sniffs that you don't like her, ooh, she's going to set up booby traps all around that relationship. Mac, you're becoming one of our 5. Well, I appreciate that, Judy Jack. That's an honor. Mac has influenced my life. I appreciate that. I'll give you the Y from Thailand, Rob. Rob, you got to come out to Thailand sometime. I think it would suit you because you're a traveler. Being here is extremely helpful. I am as much less reactive now than I was a year ago. Wow. So this is a little bit more quaint than some of the live streams. I appreciate this, folks. Wow. Where is your power? Thanks, G Money. I got to trademark it. Indian X. I dated Indian X. That's a good way to open it. I dated a friend, 100% believes she was a god, spoken tongue and everything. Wow. I mean, it's possible. I don't even know where to go with that. A lot of friends are bonded through trauma. Those bonds are hard to break. Absolutely. I'm with you. That's sound advice. Spoken tongue. What was that like? Best live stream out there. Her friends live with me too. You should hurry up and trademark that, coach. I know. Indian as in Hindu. Yeah, because that could be Native American, which is improper to say, right? Um, I love stuff about Native American culture. I used to take anthropology classes all the time. I don't even know if I got credits towards my degree. I could have double majored in anthropology. Anthropology, I don't know. It's a study of humans, linguistics, archaeology. It's 3 different fields. G Money and Rob and Judy Jack are the best co-hosts. Yeah. I walked out. That shit was weird. Well, have you ever heard of the Vegetarian Festival in Phuket? Google that. Vegetarian Festival in Phuket. That's an event. That's where they put the fucking steel rods through their mouths and stuff. That goes on here. It's one of the top 10 events for photographers in the world. Vegetarian Festival. I need your advice on my system. All right, shoot, bud. I'm about to roll out. Throw it out there. My major was history. And I went to you typed it up here already? I'm sorry, bud. I went to San Francisco State, Adonis, but I went to Mesa before that. I'm gonna look up, bud. I'm sorry. I'm not seeing it. You wrote, I have a question. I typed it up there already. I'm not seeing it, bud. Can you type it up really quick? And then we'll go from there. I apologize. Because your icon's hard to, you don't have a picture up for your icon, so it's just one of those blank people. I'll look one more time as you're typing here. Don't you even care about my story? I have a question. I need your advice. I typed it up there. What am I missing here about your statement, Godfred? Animan? I'm not seeing it typed up here. So just send it in, what's up, Dylan? Oh, here you go. All right, I can give you this. I'll make it short this time. Me and my girl was in long distance relationship. She was in theater and she has kissed someone, and I said no because we in long distance relationship. Okay, if you're in a long distance relationship and someone's asking to kiss someone else, that's probably not good news for how much longer the relationship's going to last. Long distance relationships generally have a shelf life. Well, long distance relationships, if you're not secure, will not work. You have to be highly secure, highly confident, and you have to give the individual the benefit of the doubt, or else you're gonna be questioning them. You're gonna create problems. You're gonna create rifts. So you can't do long distance if you have insecurity. And here's another thing: people don't make you insecure. You make yourself insecure. Okay, so she flirts with guys in front of me. Well, that's a red flag. Good to meet you. If someone's flirting with guys in front of you, then where's your power? Your power in that situation is to walk away and say, I don't deserve to be treated like that. You know what I mean? Are you flirting with the guy? If they're doing it in front of you, I'd just walk out and go home. I'd be done. Well, that's a question, isn't it? How do you expect me to be secure? Well, if you can't handle being in a long-term relationship, don't be in one. It's a choice, number one. Number two, have other things going on in your life outside of the relationship that you're pretty happy with and you feel good about so that you're not just hanging on this one thing. So if I've been in long distance relationships where I'm secure because I've got other things going on. I give them the benefit of the doubt. But at some point, you're going to come to a roadblock and you're going to get tired of the distance. Long distance relationships don't last long unless there's a finish line. Okay, folks, it's curtains. I got to go. This has been fun. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. If not tomorrow, the next day, but hopefully tomorrow, same time. Take it easy. Curtains.